Welcome back to Zak Wealth Files. Okay, let's dive right into this because today I want to show you one single, completely counterintuitive sentence that actually separates people who build real wealth from people who just don't. And I'm going to tell you right up front, it's not about having some sky-high income. It's definitely not about finding a secret, underground stock or crypto tip. It is entirely about a simple structural flip in the order in which you do two very ordinary things. By the end of this explainer, you are going to know exactly how to apply this mechanic to your very next paycheck.
So, there are two fundamental paths here. On the left, we've got the default approach for, well, most of the population. Spend first, invest what's left, right? You pay the bills, you buy the groceries, you go out on the weekend, and if there are a few bucks rolling around at the bottom of the leaky bucket at the end of the month, maybe you invest them. But on the right, we have the wealth-building mindset. Invest first, spend what's left. Notice that it's the exact same two actions, but in a completely reversed order. And what's truly fascinating is that this one reversal changes literally everything about your financial outcome, regardless of how much money you actually make. So take a second and ask yourself honestly, which side of this approach are you currently on?
Why is that leftover number at the end of the month so incredibly dangerous to rely on? Well, if you spend first and invest whatever is left, you're putting your future at the mercy of a totally unreliable number. Some months it's genuinely nothing. An unexpected expense comes up, sure, but more often, spending just quietly expands to fill whatever space is available. This is a very well-documented behavioral pattern in personal finance known as lifestyle creep. It's the tendency for your spending to naturally rise to meet your income level almost automatically. And I want to be really clear here. If you've experienced this, it is not a moral failure. It doesn't mean you lack intelligence. It happens to basically everyone, unless they deliberately put a structure in place to interrupt it.
When we track this behavior over distinct time periods, you'll see that as income goes up, spending rises in perfect tandem right alongside it. It's like a shadow. When you rely on the spend-first approach, you're letting this creep eat into your paycheck right out of the gate. By the time you hit the end of the month, that gap between income and spending, the leftover amount, it stays at practically zero. And when investing only happens with whatever's left, it just becomes completely optional, entirely inconsistent, and usually pretty small.
We're going to prove this mathematically. No hype, just numbers. Let's look at two identical incomes. Both person A and person B earn $40,000 a year. That shakes out to a take-home pay of roughly $2,600 a month. Now, person A uses the standard spend-first approach. They pay rent, buy groceries, handle subscriptions, general spending. Whatever happens to be left at the end of the month goes toward investing. And, like we just talked about, that leftover amount is wildly inconsistent, or just zero. But then look at person B. They earn the exact same $2,600 a month. But person B sets up an automatic transfer the very day their paycheck lands. They take 10%, $260, and move it directly into an investment account before they even see the rest of the money.
In person B's world, that 10% slice is pulled out immediately. Boom, it's protected. That means everything else, the rent, the groceries, going out with friends, it all has to fit into the remaining 90%, which is $2,340. They are literally forcing their lifestyle to fit the remaining balance instead of hoping their future investments will somehow fit into whatever happens to be left. They have the exact same income, the exact same total expenses to work with, but person B is investing consistently every single month simply because the decision was made once in advance.
Let's pause on a crucial number here, $400,000. I want to be incredibly direct about a very common misconception. Having a high income does absolutely not automatically mean someone invests consistently. This principle applies exactly the same way to someone earning $400,000 a year as it does to someone earning $40,000. High earners routinely fall into high-priced paycheck-to-paycheck traps. Their lifestyle just expands right alongside their income, just with more zeros attached to the spending side. Wealth building isn't about the sheer size of the paycheck, it's about the behavior of protecting a percentage of it first.
I absolutely love this quote. Relying on willpower requires resisting temptation all month long. Automating requires willpower exactly once. Think about the reality of your day-to-day life. Every single spending decision you make in the moment tends to feel small, and honestly, it feels entirely justified. A subscription here, a slightly nicer dinner out there, none of those individual decisions feel like they're actively stealing from your future, but collectively, they absolutely are. If investing is scheduled last, those small choices drain the bucket. But when you invest first, you build a structural wall. You remove the temptation entirely. You don't have to be perfectly disciplined 30 days out of the month. You just have to be disciplined for the 5 minutes it takes to set up an automated transfer.
All right, here are the first 3 steps you can start using on your very next payday. Step 1, pick a percentage, not a dollar amount. A percentage scales naturally whether your income goes up or down. A common starting point is anywhere from 10 to 20%, but just pick what realistically works for you. Step Step 2, and this is absolutely crucial. Make sure your bare essentials and a basic emergency cushion are genuinely covered first. This system is not about investing the money you desperately need for rent this week. You need a stable foundation so you aren't forced to sell off investments just because your car breaks down. Step 3. Automate the transfer. Set it up so it happens automatically on payday, moving your chosen percentage directly to your investment account before it ever sits in your checking account long enough to feel spendable.
Building on that, here are steps 4, 5, and 6. Step 4, build your regular lifestyle spending entirely around whatever remains. Treat that remainder as your true actual income. Step 5 is how you really accelerate things. Anytime your income increases, like you get a raise or a bonus, decide in advance how much of that new money goes to boosting your investing percentage before your regular spending quietly absorbs the whole raise. And finally, step 6. Revisit your percentage periodically, but firmly resist the urge to lower it just because a month feels slightly tight. That tightness, that's usually just lifestyle creep trying to talk its way back into your wallet.
Before you start implementing this, remember that this explainer is about general behavior and financial structure. It is not personalized financial advice. Investing always carries risk, including the risk of loss, and this framework isn't a recommendation for any specific stock, coin, or platform. Again, never invest money you need for essential living expenses, and please don't skip building an emergency fund. For guidance specific to your exact financial situation, always consult a licensed financial advisor. Our goal here is simply to teach you the mechanical framework so you can make smarter decisions about your wealth.
The difference between spend first, invest what's left, and invest first, spend what's left is not about luck. It's not about being some financial genius, and it's definitely not about how massive your salary is. It is a single, structural decision made exactly once, automated, and left alone. That is what determines whether your investing happens consistently or gets crowded out by spending that always feels reasonable in the moment. The amount doesn't matter nearly as much as most people think. The order does.
If this framework shifted how you think about your paycheck, well, that is exactly the kind of clarity this channel is built around. No hype, just the practical mechanics that actually build real wealth over time. So I want to leave you with a question, and I want you to be honest with yourself and with me in the comments below. Do you currently invest first, or do you invest whatever is left over? I read every single comment, and I would love to hear where you're starting from. Hit that subscribe button if you want more practical frameworks like this, and I will see you in the next explainer.